So what would be now at 3,400 calories? What would be like a typical day of eating for you?
Really easy to answer because it's been the same for the last weeks. I basically have in the morning, I make something called croats. I've named it. It's basically oats, but I don't want to just have more oats, so I add cream of rice to it and I cook it together, so it kind of
Hmm.
adds the texture of what cream of rice adds to the oats.
Okay.
I just don't want that much fiber. My fiber would
Hmm.
just get way out of hand if I just have this huge bowl of oats. So I have that with protein powder, blueberries in, and I have dark chocolate on top. And then I have they're called naked bars. And
I've
it's
heard of them.
basically it's literally dates and nuts. And that's all it is. It's like cold pressed into this bar.
Is it like an
So it
RX
tastes
bar?
probably similar.
Yeah.
Like it's minimally processed and it tastes good. It's got like, again, dates and nuts, whatever. So I like having that. And then at the moment, I can tell I'm in a better place because I'm willing to put some calories towards an intra workout. So I have 20 grams of
Okay.
dextrose in an intra workout. And then I have I have again the croats, literally exactly the same. And I have an apple, kiwi normally. And then at the moment, I'm making my way through protein bars because this always happens to me when I go through prep in particular, but I get a
You
bit
stop eating the
obsessed
protein bars?
with protein bars. I don't eat them in prep,
Yeah.
but post, I'm like, oh, what can I introduce that's like a bit more palatable,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
not just kind of just a confectionery item.
Yeah,
So I
okay.
end up, and Christmas also, because you're a
Sure.
bodybuilder, you just get gifted fucking protein
Yeah.
bars. So my girlfriend got me a whole box of like different Mars branded ones. So like there's M&M
Okay.
protein bars, Mars
Oh,
protein bars,
really?
Snickers. So I'm having one of those alongside. They're like
This is your
200
lunch?
calories. Yeah, basically lunch post workout. And then my dinner is like a big salad. So I'll get like five, six fruit or veg with that. And then it's either like an omelet or salmon with it. And I normally have like sourdough or I might have some rice cakes, something alongside there. And then dinner is the Ninja Creamy. And then I might have a couple of biscuits if I can fit those in that we got like gifted some like some Christmas chocolate
Biscuits
basically
is
that I'm
like cookies, right?
yeah, cookies. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Just regular cookies or like protein cookies or
Oh no, they'd be just regular ones, so just like coated in chocolate, like shortbread
okay.
coated in chocolate or something. It's
Okay.
like I might have two that comes to like 250 calories at most or something.
So most days of the week you're having some of these quote unquote treats. You might have protein bar in there, some actual cookies, this ninja thing, which is potentially healthy, but like it's not just chicken broccoli, 3 times a day or whatever.
No, that's how I always do my off seasons. I've never been that guy that's just like,
Yeah, yeah.
like I kind of do the. I'm much better with a bit of something I fancy and mostly good, like on average. Sorry, not on average, like each day. Versus
Yeah.
some people go like, hey, it's your classic bodybuilder, chicken, rice, and broccoli, and then cheat meal on the weekend.
Yeah, yeah. Which
That's
is
never been me.
well, I was gonna say because I would historically think of like like Steve Hall, like just no desire to cheat and no desire, whatever. But that probably is just that personality where you can include it and everything. It's funny that's how like my mom versus my dad, and my mom always very thin. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into that, not necessarily because of what she does like physically or anything, but she'll just like eat a cookie or something, or like half a cookie. I just want to try this and like just kind of pick. Um, and my dad will kind of like be on something, but then it's like, oh, holidays come, eat a lot of junk, eat a lot of junk. And I am more towards the like having full meals of it, just because it's not as satisfying to me. I mean, just in general, like not even just food, I think very categorically, which has pros and cons to thinking that way. Um, and not in a way of like, oh, I had this cookie, I got to eat the whole box, like the horror stories you hear about, but just in general, like for example, I was clinical 4 days a week before, like in my office. And I was like, okay, I want to finish the year. And then January 1st of 2024, I'm going to 3 clinical days. And then like I hired an associate. And I almost didn't hire somebody who was a good fit. And I did end up hiring them. But I was like, they'd be starting in September and I want to finish out the year. Like again, just very like categorical. So again, that's just me. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but so when I think of like foods, I kind of like to like, okay, this many meals is on, and then I will have one or two distinct meals that's not. Um, but clearly that does lead for me, I'm able to do that, get right back to it, whereas other people aren't. And I think you kind of just got to know yourself, and what works for you.
I think that's so well said. I think some people will hear what I do and they're like, "Oh no, that seems like so wrong. You're including a little bit of junk like every day, whatever. That's not ideal." And then other people similarly will hear like, "Oh, if like you're having whole days of it or whatever, like that doesn't seem healthy, like black and white thinking." But the more clients I work with, the more I realize it's whatever works for that individual. Some people can do that kind of on and off, and it actually works really, really well for them, doesn't stress them. But some people doing that, like you said, when they have that off, they just can never get back on it.
Yeah.
But that there might be that person kind of it might be you, Dave, where it's like having a cookie is just it's just not worth it ever unless I can have like three or four. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, let's find a way that works and suits you. So again, it comes back to like the right tool for the person. So I'm in agreement.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't know, man, you want to just get the tip in like 4 times? It's like that's not satisfying. Like, let's just finish this and then we go to bed, you know? It's
There's definitely a spectrum.
yeah.
I will say there was a time we're doing dominoes like every week
Oh, really?
where it just and I again there'd be people that if a domino's for them they hear that and they're like, all right, it's a large stuffed crust. I have
Right,
like
right,
I
right,
don't know
right.
all the sides and stuff. I'm like I do a medium, low fat cheese, just veggie toppings. Like I
Oh,
keep it
interesting.
pretty chill and mellow, so I can enjoy it, but without having to go kind of crazy in calories. And yeah, when I was mini cutting, I can remember being like, right, I actually can't really justify eating a whole that, so
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
save half. And I did it once, and I was like, I hated that. I need to eat
Yeah,
the whole fucking pizza.
totally.
I'm not doing it. We're not ordering it next week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and that's the thing. And I will say, like, I think it's rare that somebody's just always one way. Like you just gave the example there where you've had that other way. And so for myself, for example, today going out with the guys and we're going to an all-you-can-eat sushi place. So this will be a clear like my breakfast was just a normal healthy breakfast. I had a small lunch, and then I will probably eat 2,000 plus calories at all-you-can-eat sushi. And like that's a clear example of that. But I've certainly had where it's like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna have a little bit of this. It's like pre-workout. I got this treat, and I'm gonna have some of it. Um, Plenty of examples where a little bit. I just as we said, to me, it's not even that I couldn't do it. Oh, I can't have a little bit. It's just not that satisfying. Like if I just had lunch and you're like, okay, I just want to have half a cookie, I'd be like, why did I even eat that? Like it's just genuinely like not like I would just leave and be like, I should have just stuck to like just psychologically, not because it threw me off, but some people are like, yeah, that's all I needed.
Yeah.
So very
Yeah, I
different.
think it's like a bit of a spectrum, right? Like I can, I have that cutoff point too, where again, a random example, my girlfriend brought home, there was like a extra large, I think it was like a, what's it called? Salted caramel, like limited edition Twix bar.
Mm,
And I was like, oh, I can eat half of it. And I was like, that's fine. Like I can have, like, it's a packet of two Twix, like fingers. I was like, I have one finger. Some people would be like, I could only have it if I could have both and finish it all.
yeah, yeah.
Whereas there might be some people that would be like, oh, I could eat half of one of those Twix bars. I'm like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't
Yeah.
like
No,
that
no,
just feels too far.
no. Right, right. I think it's also helpful in terms of people who are looking for practical advice from this. I think it can be helpful when there's a clear cutoff point, like whether it's like you and your partner split it, so it's like it's just gone. Like again, I think both you and I probably don't have so much of a pull to keep going. But if you're listening to this and you're like, I do have that pull, it can be helpful to just be like, okay, like this is what I have. And when that's gone, it's just gone. And there's not an option to just keep picking. Because some people are like, oh, I'll have a slice of pie, but the rest of the pie's in the fridge, and I know it's in the fridge, and I can go get it. And I know I've had clients who it's like they will go in later and they will eat the whole pie. And so this is, I think, one of the issues with buffets. I occasionally will like a buffet, but that can be problematic because it's just like, where's the stopping point? I remember years back, this is why Lyle McDonald, for his books, would say if you're going to have like a refeed, a restaurant's a good option because it's just socially inappropriate to continue to eat. You have your meal and that's it, versus, you go to a buffet. I will say though, as an adult who doesn't really care about the cost of the restaurant, we have absolutely gone out to a place, seen four desserts, and be like, we're going to eat this one, but also let's order the other three and bring them home because I want to try them and I'm not going back to this restaurant. So I have done that.